Teed up and into the back of the net. Brilliantly worked goal, Bradley Barcola.
Before looking at PSG's build-up, let's first examine how Chelsea tried to neutralize the defending champions' build-up. Chelsea primarily set up in a 5-3-2 or 4-4-2 mid-block in the mid-third. When the ball is played into the block within the mid-third, or when the opposition plays a backward pass in that zone, Chelsea maintain a zonal defensive structure. In the case of a back pass, one player will jump out aggressively to apply quick and intense pressure. However, once the ball is played backward beyond the mid-third and into the defensive third, Chelsea switch into a full man-oriented press, attempting to block every passing lane with much greater intensity. If the ball is then circulated even deeper toward the box, they continue in that full man-oriented structure and push higher up the pitch to sustain the pressure. One of PSG's first build-up strategies against Chelsea's aggressive press was to switch the play to the opposite flank. While Chelsea are set in a 4-4-2 mid-block, the possessor carries the ball to draw the block toward the left side. At the same time, the three attackers ahead make quick forward movements together, pulling the opposition back line deeper and increasing the vertical space, which helps open up central space. The ball is then played backward to stretch the vertical gap even further. You can clearly see the large distance between Chelsea's defensive line and midfield line. As the ball is circulated farther back, Chelsea's front line jumps forward to press from a higher position. PSG then use that enlarged gap by moving the ball back out toward the side area, forcing Chelsea to press from a long distance. At the same time, Chelsea's block is forced to shift quickly toward the right. At this moment, the possessor moves inside and combines with a teammate to create even more confusion. He continues to dribble centrally to draw the pressure in even further. Once two defenders are pulled out as intended, the possessor avoids the crowded central area and instead switches play in one action to the now free left side. The left winger receiving the ball in space is then able to exploit the left flank comfortably. PSG's second build-up strategy was to draw the opposition in and then play long. At this moment, Chelsea's block is heavily shifted toward the right side, where the ball is located. To deliberately draw them in even further, PSG play a back pass inside the box. As intended, Chelsea maintain their full man-oriented press and step even higher. PSG do not stop there. They play another back pass to pull Chelsea out even more. You can clearly see that, apart from the two central defenders, 8 Chelsea players have pushed up to a very high position. At this point, the possessor drives forward to lure the press even further. This movement creates space and allows the ball to be played toward the free left side. At the same time, the left winger drops slightly, dragging his marker with him. As the possessor continues to advance and shift the defender's attention, the left winger, who had dropped earlier, suddenly begins to run into the large space behind. With the timing prepared, the possessor delivers a long ball into that space. With that single pass, PSG immediately create a one-on-one situation against the goalkeeper. PSG's final build-up strategy was to use the fullback's overlapping run. As the fullback receives the ball, the opposition step up to press. In response, the fullback plays a forward pass, and the winger quickly drops to receive it. At the same time, the midfielder deliberately makes a forward run to draw his marker away and create space in central midfield. While the possessor circulates the ball from the left into a nearby teammate, another midfielder moves into the newly created free space in the middle, and the pass is played into him. As the opposition then press aggressively, he turns out of pressure and escapes his marker. At that moment, the right fullback begins an overlapping run. After beating the pressure, the possessor switches the ball into the now free right side. Receiving the pass, the fullback quickly exploits the right flank. This is another sequence where coordinated movements between several players are used to create and exploit the fullback's overlapping run. The ball is circulated from the center toward the right through a series of short passes. As this happens, a midfielder drops deeper, drawing his marker with him and creating space near the halfway line. At that moment, another attacker makes a curved run into the right side of the halfway line space. The possessor then plays a pass into the space that had been created by the midfielder's dropping movement in the previous phase. Another attacker quickly drops into this area to receive the pass, while the fullback begins an overlapping run. After receiving the ball on the drop, the possessor combines through another sequence of short passes before slipping the ball into the space behind for the overlapping fullback to chase. The right fullback then uses his dynamic superiority to drive quickly into the open space behind the line. He progresses rapidly and manages to enter the box in an instant. At the same time, the opposition defense is drawn toward the striker, making a run from the center of the box into the 6-yard box. This opens space for another player arriving late with a delayed run, and the fullback delivers a cutback into this narrow gap. The move is eventually finished off for a goal.
Advantage here, and it is number 5.